My story. Menopause hit me like a tsunami, and I was not prepared for menopause at all. When I went into menopause, it began with I was putting on weight. I couldn't understand why I was putting on weight. I wasn't sleeping, and I was dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. During that point in my life, I was dealing with a lot of pain, actually, and a lot of rejection. And I was dealing with one of the things that was so difficult was that I was dealing with the fact that someone who I thought would be there for me when it would be my time of need wasn't there, and I was having a hard time dealing with that. It got so bad until I had 1 year where I wasn't sleeping properly at all, but I didn't understand what was going on. That year turned into 6 weeks of sleeping for about an hour or under an hour. And when I closed my eyes to sleep, what happened was that my brain was acting like, the old black and white television screens that they had back in the day where you'd see when you turn it on, you'd see the black and white lines. That's what I was seeing. And then it would be like bits and scenes of a movie, then the black and white lines. I didn't understand what was going on with me. This then turned into day, then night, then another day, then another night, another day, and another night of not a wink of sleep. I remember I was so wired. I didn't even know what was going on with me. I couldn't tell if I was coming or going. I felt as though I had lost control of Patrice. And at this point, I was with a family member. I had to speak to a family member to come and help me because I needed help and I wasn't getting help. And so she came and she took me for 2 weeks into a home and she helped me. And I remember it was about the third day, into the third day of not sleeping. I remember her looking at me so intensely and she said, "Patrice, do you understand what happens when a person stops sleeping?" She said, "Your organs are going to start shutting down." And by this point, everything was going haywire with me and my body. I didn't understand what was going on. And she wanted me to go to the hospital. But I'd said to her, all I need to do is to sleep. I could just sleep. I just needed to get out of that environment and perhaps I'm going to sleep. And once I sleep, I'm going to be better. Well, I didn't get better. I remember it was that night, going into the third night. It felt as though I'd maxed out. And I remember laying there trying to sleep, and I know it was God helping me. And it was like my soul. I grew up in an environment, as a woman, you were strong when you could handle this, you were strong when you could handle that. And people tell you you're so strong. So you feel as though you have to be able to handle everything and you're able to get past it. Well, this time that didn't happen. And I remember that night. It was like God was speaking to me. And it was God speaking to me. And he was showing me that my soul was like a bucket or a container. And it had so much toxic in it. And it had begun to spill out. And so it was just rimming over. And I needed help. I needed care. and I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember going to my family member and saying, yes, I need help. Can you please take me to the hospital? When we got to the hospital, a medical physician saw me. And I remember him asking questions and me explaining that, the only thing wrong with me is that I can't sleep. And I'm explaining to him, if you give me something to sleep, just help me to please sleep. All I need to do is sleep. And when I sleep, I'll be better. I'll be able to handle the things that are going on in my life. I know I needed to make, I remember telling him this, I know I need to make changes. But if I could sleep, just help me to please sleep. The medical doctor had established after examining me that nothing was wrong with me physically. And he had suggested that recommended that I see a psychologist. Now you gotta understand, I'm from the Caribbean. And if there's something wrong with you, if you are dealing with a challenge emotionally or mentally, something's wrong with you. That's something to hide, and it's not something that is talked about. It's something that there is a lot of shame that's associated with it. But when the doctor had said that they could help me, but I needed to be admitted, and my sister-in-law explained this to me, I said, listen, yes, I'll do it. Can they help me to sleep? She said, yes. I said, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. I need to sleep. You got to understand, this was 3 days and 3 nights and no sleeping. I felt like I had lost control of me. I was admitted. And I remember I didn't sleep fully. It was a horrible experience. And I remember they brought me before these doctors, the psychologists, psychiatrists, etc. And they were asking me questions and whatnot. And they deemed that there was nothing wrong with me mentally. And so they discharged me. The medical doctors had said nothing was wrong with me. The psychologist said nothing was wrong with me. Yet I was putting on weight. Yet I couldn't sleep. Yet I was dealing with anxiety. For 8 long years, I suffered. At one point after I had been to the hospital, there was this place on the island owned by Germans, and I had gone there to look for help. And I remember the lady, when she put me on the table and had me hooked up to these machines. Apparently the machines were going crazy, and she said, "Are you relaxed?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm relaxed." She said, "No, you're not relaxed." She said, "I need you to relax." And I'm looking at her, I am relaxed. So what she did was she left me in this room for about 45 minutes to an hour. And they left spa music on. They turned the lights down. She said because they needed to get a proper reading. Well, 45 minutes to an hour afterwards, they came back and she hooked me up. And she looked at me, "Are you relaxed?" And I said, "Yes, I'm relaxed." She said, "It's like your body is running a marathon." She said, she said, "Your body, there's so much going on." And they did what they had to do with the machines and all of that. And then she handed me at the end of the session the package. And she said, "Take this. Give this to your doctor immediately." Even after that, no doctor was able to help me. Even after that, no doctor was able to help me. I went through a number of different symptoms with menopause, and one of the next horrible ones was heart palpitations. When your heart is going crazy and feel like it's coming out of your chest, when it's beating like a drum, then it's slowing down, then it feels as though it's stopped. There's no description to tell you how fearful and frightening that is. It got so bad that the doctor came to my house around 5 one morning, and they had thought I had a heart attack. Had to end up at a facility, and they checked my heart, did a lot of tests, and I had to wait for the results, which was another horrifying experience, wondering if I had had a heart attack, and then what would that mean for my heart, etc. What would that mean for me in the future, etc. When I was sitting down with the doctor and he was going through the examination, the results with me, and I was relieved that I did not have a heart attack. But I asked my doctor, then what happened? And here's what my doctor said to me. I don't know. He said that it was like, this is the description he gave. He said it's like a bucket of water that someone comes and plunges their hand into, and then there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of movement with the water, and then it subsides. And then somebody else walks on by and they look at the bucket of water, but everything is calm. He said, I don't know what happened to you. 8 years into suffering, going through these changes with no help. One night, I thought that was it. I was having a horrible heart attack. And I remember calling a girlfriend around 2, 3 in the morning and telling her about it. And she said to me, Patrice, I don't know why you don't accept the fact that you were perimenopausal. Now, when she told me this, I stopped, because I'd done a lot of research, and it was leading to the fact and pointing to the fact that I was perimenopausal. But in my mind, I was too young for perimenopause. Menopause only happened to old women. Well, I had a shock of my life. I had to accept that fact. And when I accepted the fact that I was perimenopausal, it began a journey of me trying to find help. And actually, it was me, with the help of God, becoming my own rescue, because no one else had been able to help me. I learned so much. I invite you to join me. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that whenever a video comes up, you know about it. And also, if you like this content, press the like button, and you know what? Share. Find a menopausal woman, and let's make a difference in women's health globally. Let's help to educate women. Let's help to make sure the next generation of women coming up in menopause understand it. Let's talk to our daughters. Let's talk to our nieces. Let's talk to our younger sisters. Let's talk menopause. I'll see you next time. God bless you. Thanks for joining me.
A special thank you is extended to Dairy Queen Nassau for sponsoring this video. We could have not done this without your support. If you live in the Bahamas, visit any of our Dairy Queen locations. For those of you internationally, whenever you visit the Bahamas, the place where God lives, stop by and support Dairy Queen.